Hi guys, welcome back to Simple Living. Today is Book Review Thursday, and today we're going over the story of Stranded by Selena Winters. It is a novella set during the Christmas time season, going into New Year's. We're going over the story of Ivy St. Clair, which is a girl with a silver spoon, and Maddox. That is his actual name. He also has like a fake name that is like Alex something, but his real name is Maddox, so I'm gonna refer to him as Maddox. We're going over the story that Ivy was supposed to go to Canada with her boyfriend, but she walks in of him cheating on her with two women. So she decides to go to Canada by herself, and the host of the Airbnb she picked happens to be Maddox. And then sparks fly. We have one of the first quotes, which is, "All I know that my mom is going to lose her shit when she hears that we broke up." Apparently, the guy that she broke up with, his name is Preston. Very posh name, if I were to say. I feel like all the books that I've read that are like posh, the bad guy or the antagonist always has that name. But apparently he comes from a very wealthy family that has always been friends with her. Her family come from lawyers, so they always had the idea of her marrying this child. We also find out that Ivy likes to design. Her dream is fashion, but she's been pushed into law because of that's what her family is doing and what her mom pushed her to. I'm sorry if you hear biting. We've got a box delivered and my cats are currently having fun with it. Aren't you, Luna? They gotta mark their territory, put the scent on everything. One of the first quotes we get from Maddox is, "Ivy St. Clair and her fancy boyfriend will call it home for Christmas. The thought of her boyfriend's hand on her is like a punch to the gut. I've killed before. And looking at the axe in my hand, I can't help but entertain the thought." This is very fast action. I was wondering if like maybe he knew her, he knew him, but no. He saw her picture when she did the booking for the Airbnb and he fell obsessed with her and then just started stalking her online, per se. We also find out that his name is Maddox, really, but his fake ID and bank accounts are Alex Henderson. But he wasn't gonna abandon his name in day-to-day life, which seems a little unrealistic to me. Usually people that are ex-convict or like have to hide their names for whatever reason, they take the whole new persona as a whole, because having a different name from your legal name is kind of counterproducent. Gives like a, how to say it, a flaw in the plan, can make you easier to catch. It's kind of a stupid move. We have their first interaction when Ivy comes to the Airbnb. She finds him pleasuring himself out in the snow. And this girl doesn't get afraid and turns the other way and goes away running. She starts talking to him and even flirts with him, which we know is a book, it's not real, but in my head, and I'm like, what? I feel like I will run away in the opposite direction and be like, "Oh, wrong place, bye." One of the freshest phrases she says, "It looked like you had a lot of hardwood to handle. Careful how you speak to me around Angel. You're the first pretty little thing I've seen in a long time." Sparks flying in this first interaction. One thing that Ivy says, because we also find out that he has cameras in the Airbnb to stalk her, which makes me think, did he have the cameras installed specifically for her, or has the cameras always been there and he's been stalking every single person that has rented his Airbnb? Because we know he previously mentioned that other people have rented it and he ended up having sex with some of the girls that rented it. He has a thing for face masks And we also found out that Ivy has a thing for face masks, and that's something they might connect with over sexually. They like to role play in a specific consensual, non-consensual role play. They like to make grape. I know YouTube doesn't like the actual word, so I don't really know how to prefer it. But they like to act out like she is not consenting to it, but she really is. And they have the secret word, which is Scarlet. One of his phrases: "This isn't a fairy tale, sweetheart, and I am no Prince Charming." She looks at me defiantly, then smiles, taking me by surprise. Good, as I'm looking for a villain. I do like that phrase. That's dirty. Like, good dirty. This is where we find out he's into role. I want to role play. A great fantasy. It's what I enjoy. Which made me wonder why make him want into this. I assume some kind of past trauma. But we just find out that his background, he used to be a bank robber or bank heist. He always wore the mask, which made him feel very powerful and in control. And he, I guess, likes the height of it, and he's taking over every aspect of his life, especially sexually, since he's not a bank robber anymore. Because one day he did it wrong and his face got caught on camera. So now he's a fugitive. She walks out on purpose because she wants to get him mad so they can have sex again. And she encounters these two ex-convicts that start attacking her, but he comes in and saves the day and assassinates them both in front of her. And she finds out that she's not scared of him. He actually arouses her. This gives me, what are those Bonnie and Clyde vibes? Another thing we find out about Maddox is that he used to be a dom at a sex club, and he's experimented with men and women, but women are his real passion. Was this before or after he got caught in a bank heist? I had a lot of questions about her, but it's because I really like backgrounds in depth. So we have Preston that comes back trying to get trying to get Ivy to forgive him because they were supposed to get engaged. We find out that Maddox is bisexual with a preference for male genitalia into his rectum. So Maddox has the idea of sexually torturing Preston to the point of recording him in a video, him asking to be taken in the rear and use that to blackmail him. And they indeed do that, but then they find out that he was bisexual, so she forgave him and they let him go. But originally Maddox really wanted to eliminate this guy, which I'm glad they didn't do it, because if not, it would have been a big trouble. Because how are you gonna eliminate this very important card? Not to Ivy, but both of her parents were connected. Both of her parents were lawyers. And one of the things we see is that her dad gave Preston the address. So if he disappears after he comes to get her, it would have been very, very hard to discombobulate this whole mess. Either way, it wouldn't have made sense for him to be killed. So I appreciate that she didn't kill him. And during this moment, during this whole story, we found out that Ivy knows, like, this is a nice dream, but hey, I gotta go back to my life. My family is expecting me. I have to go back to lawyer work. We find the moment in which she realizes she wants to stay in the Alaskan wilderness with this guy. I'm gonna read the quote to you. At that moment, I realized I don't want to leave. I yearn to stay here, wrapped in these wild, untamed feelings that Maddox and I share. Sure. But I know I need to go. I must face my mom and explain why I'm leaving everything familiar behind, why I'm trading the known for the unknown life in Alaska. I found my home in this man's arms, as crazy and unhinged as he is. I want to spend the rest of my days learning his secrets, navigating his moods, and being consumed by his love. Okay, girl, you're obsessed. Maddox, turning point, because he takes the risk to go to New York with her because he wants to make sure she comes back, which I think is very unrealistic or very risky. Or I thought it was gonna be like a turning point in the book, because obviously, even though they fly private security, the scene's gonna be camera, especially her family being lawyers. I assume he was gonna get recognized, he was gonna get caught, or the mom was gonna do something and getting him arrested because the mom didn't like him. She actually looked over. Oh, my apologies. She looked over the shoulder at him like he was trash and not worthy of his daughter. But none of this happened. It was very anticlimactic. We just have the quote that says, "For Ivy, I will walk into the lion's den. For Ivy, I will stare at death in the face and spit. And I must convince her family that I am worthy of their daughter. Even though I know I'm not, I'm a monster and she's an angel." It's a nice phrase. I like that. It ends up going fine. Her dad supports her, her mom's upset. They move back to Alaska. A year later, they get engaged, and then Preston starts dating a girl, and he proposes to her, and then we find out that the girl is actually a transgender man. Pre-surgery, so he still has a penis, and we know Preston prefers male genitalia. So yeah. I don't know, I expected more drama, maybe the family finding out about Preston and about Maddox, getting him out of jail, because they're lawyers, but none of that happened. I was a bit disappointed. It was a nice read though. It was a nice short read to read on the plane and finish. I hope you had a nice holiday season and are ready to take on the rest of the year. As I'm filming this, it is January 4th, and I have one more week off before I have to start classes. So I want to try and record as many videos as I can so I don't fall behind on them. Thank you for listening to me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next Book Review Thursday.